can't close the door. So Moses stood up and rolled 6 foot 10.
All right, and we are live. Welcome, welcome. Everyone, give us just a couple minutes, but we're just about to begin. Come on, everybody watching on Facebook and on Deadheadland, Jews for Jerry, on the Facebook Twitch if you're there, or the Deadheadland Twitch, I should say, or the Deadheadland YouTube channel. And welcome to our event. And my name is Happy Cat, and this is our Passover Seder In Place. We're about to begin here. Just a couple of things to let you know what's going on here right as we're starting off. We've got some great performers coming up. We've got Lebo, we've got Scott Law, we've got Leslie Mendelson, we've got Brian Rashap, Scott Guberman, Jeanette Ferber, Jordan Feinstein, Sunshine Becker, Ezra Lip, and if I forgot anybody, I apologize, but they're going to be playing music for us throughout. We also are going to be going through kind of our Deadhead version of a traditional Seder, and there are links posted for you to download the Haggadah and follow along with us if you'd like. And in addition to that, we do have a shared tip jar that we're using for today, and that's also posted, and we'll share it in the chat for everybody as well. We're going to donate 18% of that to Mazon, which is a Jewish charity that is a response to hunger, and they do some really great work, and Mazon.org if you'd like to check them out. And anyways, we're going to have a really great time. This is going to take a little bit. Anybody that's been to a Seder before knows that they sometimes take a little while, but we're going to make it really fun and explain everything as we're going along the way. So thank you for being here with us. And I'd like to get it started off with a little music. So I'm going to introduce our first performer. A good friend of mine. Really glad to have him here. Really glad to have him at all of our Seders for so many years. Ladies and gentlemen, Lebo.
Hey everybody, so good to be with you. Thanks for that great introduction, Brian. All right, well, here we are. 1 year since the last virtual Seder. And I'm so glad we can still gather again. We always find a way. So yeah, I'll kick things off with a tune that's relevant. I trust you can all hear me. Israel was in Egypt land. Let my people go. Pressed so hard they could not stand. Let my people go. Go down. Moses, way down in Egypt land. Tell old Pharaoh, let my people go. Moses went down to Egypt land. Let my people go. Made old Pharaoh understand. Let my people go. Go down. Moses, way down in Egypt land. Tell old Pharaoh, let my people go. Thus spoke the Lord, Moses said, let my people go. Not I'll smite your firstborn dead. Let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt land. Tell old Pharaoh, let my people go. Say go down, Moses, way down in Egypt land. Tell old Pharaoh, let my people go.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Lebo. That was awesome. It's so good to be with you and to be with all of our crew, our Seder crew again this year. Welcome everyone to our, I don't even know how many times we've done our Terrapin Nation Seder. This might be the 8th or 9th one. I can't do math right now, but the first one was in 2014. And it's amazing to be able to continue this tradition and gather together even among these crazy pandemic times. My name is Jeanette Ferber, for those of you who don't know me. I'm here in the Bay Area and been helping to lead these Seders for a number of years. And it's just really awesome to see everyone. Thanks everyone for being here. And I'm going to kick this off with one of our favorite songs that we usually start out the Seder with, that I think everybody knows and loves. And I just want to encourage everyone at home, feel free to sing along. Stay on mute, please stay on mute, but sing along. The Seder is full of music and it's a great time to connect to the songs in all of our hearts and connect to our voices and just get to sing out some of our prayers and good vibes for this Passover together. All right, let's do it. I want to say to my sisters and my brothers, keep the faith when the storm flies and the wind blows. Go on at a steady pace when the battle is fought and the victory's won. We can all shout together, we have overcome. We'll talk to the Father in the Son when we make it to the promised land. If we walk together, little children, no, we don't ever have to worry. Through this world of trouble, we've gotta love one another. So let us take our fellow man by the hand and try to help him to understand. And we will all be together forever and ever when we make it to the promised land. Our Bible reads, thou shalt not be afraid of the terror by night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in the dark, nor for the destruction that waiteth in the noonday hour. 'Cause if we walk together, little children, no, we don't ever have to worry. Through this world of trouble, we gotta love one another. So let us take our fellow man by the hand and try to help him to understand. We can all be together trail is all made up, way beyond the blue. So let us do the very best that we can while we are traveling through this land. We will all be together, shaking a hand when we make it to the promised land. If we walk together, little children, no, we don't ever have to worry. Through this world of trouble, we've gotta love one another. So let us take our fellow man by the hand and try to help him to understand that we will all be together forever and ever when we make it to the promised land. When we make it to the promised land, yeah, we'll make it to the promised land. Oh, we'll make it to the promised land. Yeah, we'll make it to the promised land. Oh, we'll make it to the promised land. We'll make it to the promised land. Oh, we will all be together forever and ever when we make it to the promised land. Oh, we can all be together forever and ever when we make it to the promised land. Hag Sameach!
Bravo! Chag Pesach Sameach, everyone. Happy Passover. I'm Wendy Garflip, and I'm here to welcome you once again to the Terrapin Nation's Seder in Place. The notion of spiritual redemption is in part demonstrated by the fundamental Jewish idea that in every generation, each individual is obliged to view themselves as though they had actually gone forth from Egypt. Egypt in Hebrew is Mitzrayim. It stems from the root tsar, which means narrow or constrain. In order to leave Egypt, each individual must break out of personal narrowness, becoming free to achieve their full spiritual potential. Another explanation of the root zar is calamity. In this view, Mitzrayim represents the country of calamities that befall the Jews. So let us visit that place experientially, what it was like then to experience the slavery and the liberation, based on the Hasidic notion that a person is a microcosm of the world, and we all have inside us Pharaoh, Egypt, and so on.
We were born into slavery. We were born into slavery. Our parents were slaves. Our grandparents were slaves. Our bodies, minds, and spirits are broken from harsh labor and savage cruelty. We have been here so long, our oppression seems to us the way life was, is, and always will be. As we have been oppressed, so we have multiplied. And so the Egyptians have come to fear and hate us more, culminating in Pharaoh's order to murder our newborn sons. Our situation is suffocating, constrained. In the Metzarim, the narrow places of Mitzrayim, we are powerless. We are crushed. We are silenced. Time has no shape or meaning. The days, months, and years simply stream into one another. Until many years later, something eventually changes.
For the first time, we permit ourselves to cry. This cry is our first acknowledgement of our suffering and the possibility of an alternative to it. Our cry becomes a prayer, ascending to the infinite and arousing compassion for our plight. Our cry is a human awakening that changes God. It wakes up the infinite. God listens. Immediately after we cry out and the infinite responds, the Torah describes Moses' encounter with the infinite at the burning bush, where he is given the mission of liberating us. We watch in shock as Moses gathers our elders, performs miraculous signs, and promises our deliverance. We are gradually remembering, relearning what it means to have our own identity, our own story, our own destiny.
Through the terrifying plagues, we learn of the awesome power of God, of the awful and awful consequences of human actions, and of our distinctiveness. We are being told to count until the 10th day after the new moon, and then to take a lamb, an Egyptian god, and brazenly tie it up and then kill it. Moses tells us to eat its flesh and smear its blood on our doorposts. He tells us that the infinite will smite our oppressors and that we will be spared, protected by the blood, and that we will leave Egypt in haste. And so it happens. We count the days. We take the god of our oppressors, we tie it up, we kill it and eat it, and we smear its blood on our doorposts. The Egyptians are struck, and they cry out in suffering. We are spared, protected by the blood. All of us, the Egyptians, Pharaoh, us, come face to face with the simple, profound reality of life and death, of the consequences of our actions. In this one night, the world changes beyond recognition, and the oppressors are stunned into submission, revealing their vulnerability, while we, the oppressed slaves, are suddenly carried by hope to an uncertain future.
We find ourselves suddenly free to pack up our not yet risen dough cakes and walk out of our slave homes through the bloody doorposts and into the boundless possibilities of freedom. We are free. We are being reborn through the birth canal of the splitting sea. We are re-entering the flow of life. We are remembering how to sing.
Right outside this lazy summer home, you ain't got time to call your soul a critic, no. Right outside the lazy gate of winter's summer home, wondering where the northwest winters wings a mile long, just carry the bird. beaches, its homeland, and thoughts of its own. Wake now, discover that you are the song that the morning brings. That the heart has its seasons, its evenings, and songs of its own. There comes the Redeemer, and he slowly to fade away. There follows a wagon behind him that's slowly to fade. Seeds that were silent all burst into bloom and decay. And the night comes so quiet, it's close on the heels of the day. Wake up to find out that you are the eyes of the world. That the heart has its beaches, its evenings, and thoughts of its own. Wake now, discover that you are the song that the morning brings. That the heart has its seasons, its evenings, and arms of its own. Sometimes we live no particular way but alone. Sometimes we visit your country and leave your home. Sometimes we ride on your horses. Sometimes we walk alone. Sometimes the songs that we hear are just songs of our own. Wake up to find out that you are the eyes of the world. That the heart has its beaches, its homeland, and thoughts of its own. Wake me out and discover that you are the song that the morning brings. That the heart has its seasons, its evenings, and songs of its own.
Well, Terrapin Nation, what a start to our Seder. For many of us, this is our third Seder of 2021 and the third one on Zoom. Too much of everything is just enough. A Seder is unlike anything else in our tradition, a complex choreography of ceremony, symbol, and song. Symbols express ideas of thanksgiving, liberty, enslavement, and freedom. Since we believe in a living tradition that grows and redefines itself, we happily add new meanings to old symbols and new symbols that resonate with our nation. The Seder feels weird compared to our other Jewish holiday observances. Sure, we recite blessings, but we talk about food, we eat prescribed amounts, we drink glass after glass after glass after glass of wine, we play hide and seek, we sing songs which suspiciously sound like drinking songs. Once again, this year on Passover, we are in exile from nearly all our family and friends, and it still feels surreal. B'chol dor vador chayav adam lirot et atzmo ki'ilu hu yatsa mimitzrayim. In every generation, every individual should feel as though they had actually been redeemed from Mitzrayim, Egypt. Before the pandemic, I've looked at the story of the Exodus as a historical happening, but it's happening to us on this very day, this week, this month, this year, to you and me, not as if it was our collective story, but as our collective story. We are in Mitzrayim, the narrow place, constrained, in exile, yearning to be free. Like those wandering in the desert, we are in between yesterday and a future that is shimmering in the light in front of us, visible, but not quite reachable. We cannot and will not go back. Like the wandering Israelites, we can only proceed one day at a time, accepting what is and looking forward to the new better that surely would come. So tonight, as we celebrate our second Zoom Passover in this unique manner, at this unique time, with our very unique community, Terrapin Nation, let us surrender to the mystery and be grateful for the blessings here tonight of love, family, community, tradition, food, music, Deadheadland, and joyful noise. Let us use the words and stories of this collective experience to be a pathway out of Mitzrayim, the narrow places, as we open our hearts, our minds, our souls, and our bodies to the ancient and the new, the sad and the joyous, the bitter and the sweet. And together, we will make it to the promised land.
Thank you, Wendy, for evoking so much of the important imagery of this day. And I'd like to invite you all right now to turn inward a bit. We'll have more music and a lot more talk, but just to take an opportunity to reflect on the significance of this occasion. Maybe closing your eyes if that feels right to you. And taking in a slow, deep breath where you take the time to really expand within, acknowledging the freedom you have to be here now and just sit and breathe, to take the time to settle. So a big opening on that in-breath and then a very slow out breath, relaxing, letting your weight land into your seat, feeling supported by the earth. Maybe another one of those slow, deep cleansing breaths and out breaths. And when you let that air out, feel your feet come into contact with the earth beneath you. Let it hold you. Let the body relax. And then just letting the body breathe the way it wants to do. And reflecting, if you will, on this occasion. Wendy mentioned So many opposites, ancient and new, suffering, oppression and freedom, heaviness and lightness. Passover is all those things. So as we commemorate and celebrate freedom, it's freedom from oppression, the burden of the Jewish people, of eons of slavery and bondage, and moving out of the Mitzrayim, the narrows of Egypt, into something open and light and expansive, taking a while to even become accustomed to being unshackled, reflecting on the burdens and suffering of all peoples who are enslaved or who have been enslaved and who have lived with the repercussions of slavery. And we can reflect on being relieved of the oppressive burden of this pandemic. Incrementally, slowly, we feel our loads lightened and optimistic about what comes next, but there's so much unknown. So teetering as we are right now on this edge between oppression and freedom, acknowledging the suffering and difficulty and burden and pain of those who fell ill, those who died. All of this, the sickness, the health, the slavery, the freedom. This moment together as we look into the light. So just a moment of silence before we move into the candle lighting, which will beckon the light of a new day.
Thank you, Erica. We are now going to light and bless the candles. I want to invite anyone out there who has candles with them to get them ready to go. And lighting the candles is just one of the steps that we take to sanctify a holy occasion, like a holiday or the Sabbath. And I just love the candle blessings and the idea that it's a good deed to light a candle, to bring some light into the world. Just a simple thing that symbolizes so much. So let's everyone go ahead and light. And if you don't have candles, or even if you do have candles, ignite that spark of light in your heart, in your body, in your spirit. And we take 3 circles of light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר של יום טוב. אמן.
mine. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Hey, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. The light that shines is the light of love, lights the darkness from above. Shines on me and it shines on you, shows you what the power of love can do. I'm gonna shine it far and near. I'm gonna shine my light so bright and clear. Where there's a dark corner in this land, I'm gonna let my little light shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, well, I'm gonna let it shine. Yeah. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Hey, let it shine, let it shine, oh, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, well, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, shine, shine. Where there's a dark corner in this land, I'm gonna let my little light shine.
Yay, Mookie. That was so beautiful. Okay, now we're going to do something really fun and community oriented. This is the first example of this. We're going to do this 3 times throughout the Seder, and we're going to share our reflections on our experience, and I'll prompt you with a question in a few minutes. But we're going to share them in this little program that allows us to make a word cloud, and we'll share the word cloud of everybody's contributions. So to do this, you have to get on menti.com. If you're on Zoom and you have a phone or something, you can go to the website. Oh, thank you, Corey, for putting this up. You can go to menti.com and enter this code here, or you can read the QR code right now. This is going to be cool because we're going to put the word cloud on screen. So I strongly encourage you to take a second, get it on your phone. If people on the Zoom could just chat, just say a yay or nay if you're getting on there, that would be really good, because then I'll give you the prompt. Yay, yay, Pam's on. Yay. Who else is on? Wendy. Okay. Great. And you can do this, all this information, everybody can participate, whether you're in the Zoom room or whether you're on Facebook. So it sounds like we have enough people ready. We're going to do this now, and we're going to do this a couple more times. So next time I'll say we're going to do another word cloud, and you'll be ready to go. Okay. All right. So the whole idea here is that we take a minute to reflect on our experience. And judging where you are right now, what do you yearn to be liberated from? We're talking about moving out of oppression into freedom. Wow. fear, loneliness. Oh, seeing this build is fascinating. And if you don't know, the bigger the word, that means the more times it's been entered. So it's interesting that fear is at the center of this pandemic. Thank you. Pandemic is still the pandemic, loneliness, fear, self-doubt. Anxiety, oppression, pain, racism. So just contemplating the liberation from these things. Great. Thank you, everybody. And hold in your heart your freedom from these things. And we will also be, it's my understanding that we're going to save some of these word clouds so we can make them available later. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Symbols are such an important part of the traditional Seder experience. And on our Terrapin Nation Seder plate, we have old symbols and new symbols. For example, karpas, parsley or green veggies, to remind us to remember springtime because the Exodus happened in springtime. At this season, where we celebrate the birthday of the Jewish people, we celebrate new life all around, rebirth, and renewal. Charoset is a combination of fruits and nuts, wine and cinnamon made into a paste to represent the mortar we used to build the storehouses in Mitzrayim. It's a reminder of the persecution, but it tastes sweet to remind us of the joy of freedom. Maror, the bitter herb, often horseradish in the Ashkenazi tradition, is to remind us of the bitterness of our lives during slavery. Some people use chazeret, romaine lettuce, as a second bitter herb. The egg, beitzah, reminds us of the holiday sacrifice at the time when the Holy Temple stood in Jerusalem, and it also recalls the circle of life and renewal. For a vegan option for the egg, we can add a perach, a flower, which also represents rebirth and renewal. The zroa, or lamb shank bone, reminds us of the Paschal lamb offering we ate before fleeing Mitzrayim, and we can use a beet, selek, as a vegetarian alternative because a beet too can bleed. And we also offer the sweet potato as a Paschal yam.
The zayit, olive, is to remember the economic insecurity caused by the destruction of olive trees, a historic symbol of hope for many people in the Middle East. The tapuz, the orange, although relatively new to our tradition, comes to us via Susanna Heschel and has earned a place of honor on our Seder plate. The story, which has morphed and changed, which all good stories do, goes something like this. In the 1980s, feminists at Oberlin College placed a crust of bread on the Seder plate saying, "There's as much room for a lesbian in Judaism as there is for a crust of bread on the Seder plate." Although Heschel was intrigued by the idea, it was impractical, since it would render everything not kosher for Pesach. In addition, it carried a message that lesbians were a violation of Judaism itself. Heschel instead put an orange on the Seder plate because it suggests the fruitfulness for all Jews when our LGBTQ sisters and brothers are contributing and active members of Jewish life. We spit out the orange seeds, which was said to represent homophobia and hatred. Our 2019 symbol was a smooth stone in response to an unprecedented rise in anti-Semitism and hate crimes. That year, right before Passover, the Jewish cemetery in Fall River, Massachusetts, where I work, was desecrated. 36 stones, some dating back to the 1800s, were either toppled or marked with graffiti. I took a smooth stone and laid it on the desecrated grave. It is a Jewish custom to place a stone on a headstone of a loved one when visiting a cemetery. It probably comes from a time when Jews were forbidden to visit their dead. Despite the decrees, they visited anyway and left a stone, a tiny gesture of resistance. I placed a stone on the grave that was defiled with swastikas, and I placed a stone on the grave where they scrawled Heil Hitler. And I placed a stone on the grave of our relative, Rose Gitlin, defiled with the words, "Expel the Jews. This is MAGA country." This was my resistance. The smooth stone helps us remember that the small acts of resistance against hatred and bias help repair our world. Sadly, this symbol today takes on additional meaning and importance as we face an unprecedented wave of murder and violence against Asian Americans. Let our smooth stone remind us to resist hatred and violence in any form, but especially today, let us speak out and act in support of all AAPI folks. Last year, we added an unbroken chain to our Seder plate. As our family, like many families throughout the world, conducted our Seders on Zoom, I was struck by the idea of so many people being connected via the internet. It was clear that we were linked through technology, but also through the invisible ties of family and friends. "How are we all connected?" asked one of the children when seeing so many faces on the screen. And to her we answered, "Without love in the dream, it will never come true. We are all connected by love." Although we cannot see the links on the chains that connect us, we know that the unbroken chain of friends, family, and community link us all as we listen to the secret and search for the sounds of freedom and liberation. Our newest symbol for 2021, bazooka, chewing gum. Sounds crazy, but I'm not joking. This simple, lighthearted addition invites discussion, the precise purpose for all objects on our Seder plate. Chewing gum represents our efforts for flexibility and cohesion. Just ask anyone who has stepped on a wad. Gum is the quintessential symbol of sticking together. Thanks to the miracle of technology, we can cling to one another and hold fast to our heritage while still stretching the bonds of tradition. Like chewing gum, we reshape and adapt and bend without breaking. Zoom Seders are all about the elastic and adhesive nature of this year's celebration. And yes, we can recline and chew gum at the same time. Yet, like the present spurt of energy for congregating online, chewing gum's flavor lasts only so long. May we be blessed to dispose of this symbol next year as we rise and not fall, as we return to our Terrapin Nation Seder in person, face to face, hug to hug, together again. We continue on page 4 of the Haggadah.
Long ago, at this season, our people set out on a journey. Our Seder serves as a tangible reminder of our passage from slavery to freedom, from dark to light. Passover Seders are intentionally packed with moments that are different from a typical holiday meal. The rituals of the Seder prompt us to inquiry. We ask questions regardless of whether or not we know or we think we know the answers. Questioning is a sign of freedom, proof that we are free to investigate, to analyze, to satisfy our intellectual curiosities.
On such a night like this, Israel went forth from degradation to joy. We gave thanks for the liberation of days gone by, and we pray for all those who are still bound. Adonai, may all who hunger come to rejoice in a new Passover. Let all the human families sit at your table, sharing the wine of deliverance and eating the bread of freedom.
freedom from bondage and freedom from oppression, freedom from hunger and freedom from want, freedom from hatred and freedom from fear, freedom to think and freedom to speak, freedom to teach and freedom to learn, freedom to love and freedom to share, freedom to hope and freedom to rejoice, and freedom to dance. Soon, God willing, in our days. Amen.
We now begin our Seder with Kos Miriam, Miriam's cup, symbolically filled with Ma'im Chaim, the living waters from Miriam's well. Elijah's cup, which we speak of at the end of the Seder, represents our future redemption, looking forward to the time when peace will fill the world. Miriam's cup is a symbol of our past redemption, when our people were brought out from Egypt and delivered from slavery. Miriam's well was said to hold God's power to heal and renew. It is said that Miriam's well followed her throughout the journey through the desert, providing living waters when our people wandered on their way to the promised land. It became a special source of transformation for a people seeking to leave slavery behind them and form a new identity. Throughout our journey, we have sought to rediscover these living waters for ourselves. We remember the sustenance and renewal of God's gift to Miriam by partaking a clear glass of water, a reminder of the living waters of Miriam's well. Let us remember that we are still on the journey. Just as God delivered Miriam and her people, sustained them in the desert, and transformed them until they became a new people, so may we be delivered and transformed on our own journey to a stronger sense of ourselves as individuals and as one people. Let us drink from the cup of Miriam to nourish us and give us an inspiration as we embark on our journey. Let all the women fill the cup of Miriam with water from our own glasses, like that, so that our daughters may continue to draw from the strength and wisdom of our heritage. Zot kos Miriam, kos Ma'im Chaim, Zeher Litziat Mitzrayim. This is the cup of Miriam, the cup of living waters, which we drink to remember the exodus from Egypt. These are the living waters, God's gift to Miriam, which gave new life to us as we struggled with ourselves in the wilderness. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings us from the narrows into the wilderness, sustains us with possibilities, and enables us to reach a new place. Nevarech et ein Chaim shenatan lanu Ma'im Chaim. Let us bless the source of life who has given us the living waters. And Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam sheho neheh b'dvaro. Blessed are you, Adonai, life source of the universe, through whose words everything is created.
Every Haggadah looks different. Every reading sounds different, suggesting new nuances and new insight. The Seder, the ordering of the evening, has changed little since its inception centuries ago. It is a fusion of fixity and flux, structure and spontaneity, words that describe the music that runs through our souls. Although we are encouraged to elaborate on the story, we are reminded to observe the basics, to ensure that at a time when not everyone possessed a Haggadah, an aid memoir, a rhymed mnemonic, was created as a prelude to the Seder.
Okay, here's Kadesh Archatz to the tune of Ripple. You can sing along on page 6. Kadesh Archatz, Karpas Yachatz, Magi Rachsa, Motzi Matzah, Maror Korech, Shulchan Orech, Safun Barech, Halel Nirtzah, Kadesh Orchatz, Karpas Yachatz, Mahagi Rachsa, Motzi Matzah.
welcome, everybody, if you're going to join me in the Kiddush. So to show that we are free people, we pour the 4 cups of wine for each other, no one pouring his or her own cup. That said, of course, some of us are still sheltering at home, and so I pour the cup for you and you pour the cup for me. Pour yourself a cup of wine, and we sanctify this gathering with this first cup of wine. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. We're thankful to you, source of the universe, for creating the fruit of the vine. This first cup is the cup of redemption and the promise of the burden of slavery. It acknowledges a truth that is in our lives right now, the parts of our being, both physical and spiritual, that want to trust in you to create wholeness where now exists Mitzrayim, the narrow places. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehekianu v'kimanu v'higianu halazman hazeh. We are thankful to you, source of the universe, who has breathed life energy into us, who's provided us with the experiences that have made us who we are and has enabled us to reach this time of our lives. And drink your wine while reclining.
Why is wine used as a symbol of sanctification when it so readily brings to mind revelry and intoxication? How can it be a symbol of liberation when so many have become enslaved to it? The point is that no object is intrinsically good or intrinsically bad. Its nature is determined by the way we use or misuse it.
We are now going to do the first of the 2 hand washing rituals that are part of the Seder order, which we just heard Ezra sing about. This is called Urchatz. If you have the Seder, the Haggadah, it's on page 8. It looks like that. So the hand washing is, it's a ritual for purification, for entering a holy space, or for just ritually sanctifying yourself. And the intention that we want to bring to our hand washing today is to incorporate this practice that a lot of people do, along with pouring water over our hands, which anyone can do if you have have some water and have a bowl to pour it onto. We are also going to say some things that we would like to wash away from our lives, that we would like to let go of. So the way that the ritual usually works is that you say aloud something that you want to let go of, and someone else, as a validation of your intention of letting go, seals that intention with the words Ken Yehi Ratzon, which means may it be so. So my beautiful sisters, Erica and Sunshine, and I are going to lead this ritual on behalf of our community. Erica is going to say some things that I know we are all ready to let go of, to wash away from our lives. And Sunshine and I are going to seal those intentions with our statements that may it be so, Ken Yehi Ratzon. Erica.
So while you reflect personally on what you would like to let go of, what you would like to wash away, I'm going to share some things that maybe we collectively, as people, as community, can let go of. The pandemic.
Ken Yehi Ratzon.
Systemic racism.
May it be so.
The climate crisis.
Ken Yehi Ratzon.
Kids in cages.
May it be so.
Hate crimes of all kinds.
Ken yehi ratzon.
Poverty.
May it be so.
World hunger.
Ken yehi ratzon.
Fear.
May it be so.
In ancient times, our people were farmers and shepherds. In this festive season, we are meant to feel a connection with the food we eat from the land and to remember that we are surrounded by blessings and miracles no less majestic than those our ancestors witnessed thousands of years ago. Spring reminds us that we are again given a chance for renewal, a new chance to create peace and goodness in the world. We dip karpas, greens, to symbolize this renewal. The salt water symbolizes the bitter tears shed in slavery. On the national level, we lay dormant in slavery until our desire for freedom was awakened. We left Egypt in the springtime. On the individual level, liberation is often experienced as a gift of new options, a sudden expansion of possibilities. However, the fresh taste of newfound freedom symbolized by the karpas is still mingled with memories of bitterness, the salt water of tears. We need a piece of parsley and say, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri ha'adamah. We thank you, creator of the universe, Mother Earth, for having created the fruits, the vegetables, the silent sustenance. We thank you for providing us with the support and nourishment required in births and new beginnings.
We take this time to honor others who travel with us from other faiths and cultural traditions. We acknowledge the fact that they bring a new perspective to our lives and a legacy of their own that enriches ours. We are grateful for the growth that we have experienced because they're in our lives. As a plant bursts forth with new energy to bloom, so too we recognize that at this time in our history, we are blooming in different ways. As a garden needs tending, so too do our relationships, weeding out all that is not necessary and loving. We make room for fresh insight and respect. We welcome those who sit around this table for the first time or the 20th, bringing new understanding to our discussion.
Rose of summer pricks my finger, and the hot sun chills me to the bone. When I can't hear the song from the singer, and I can't tell my pillow from the stone, I will walk alone by the black, muddy river, sing me a song of my own. I will walk alone by the black, muddy river, sing me a song of my own. When the last bolt of sunshine hits the mountain and the stars start to splatter through the sky, when the moon splits splits the southwest horizon with the scream of an eagle on the fly. I will walk alone by the black muddy river and listen to the ripples as they moan. I will walk alone by the black muddy river and sing me a song of my own. Black muddy river, roll on forever. I don't care how deep or wide, if you got another side. Roll muddy river, roll muddy river, black muddy river, roll, yeah. Ba 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 ba. Da 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 da. Oh, 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 oh. Sa-da-da-da-da-da. Oh, oh, Black muddy river, roll on forever. I don't care how deep or wide, if you got another side. Roll muddy river, roll muddy river, black muddy river, roll. When it seems like the night will last forever and there's nothing left to do but count the stars, and the strings of my heart start to sever, and stones fall from my eyes instead of tears. I will walk alone by the black muddy river and dream me a dream of my own. Yeah, I will walk alone by the black muddy river and sing me a song of my own. Sing me a song of my own. Yeah, sing me a song of my own. Sing me a song of my own. It's time to sing a song of my own. Blessings.
So if you ever wondered if Grateful Dead music could be gospel music, there you go. Sunshine, that was glorious. And why don't we all just take a minute to let that soak in? And we're going to use the Menti board again For those of you who did it last time, we got a new code for this Menti, and to look within and share a word that captures what you're feeling right now. So this one's a little different. What's in your heart right at this moment? It'll be really interesting to see how this builds as a word cloud. Go to menti.com and enter the code on screen, or scan the QR code. If you're on Zoom, the link is in the chat field. That was beautiful, Sunshine. Whatever you're feeling in your heart right now, type it on in. Let's see what emerges. It'll be really interesting to see how we're also touched in various ways. So I'm waiting for it to build, and Corey's going to share the word cloud on screen. What's coming up? Grateful. Oh, such a big grateful. Grateful, love, peace, contentment, gratitude. What wonderful words. Just bask in what we're seeing now. Joy, contentment, optimism, yay, love, love and grateful, peaceful family, wonder, nostalgic, inclusion. And that's such a lovely one because, you know, connecting to community and embracing all of us everywhere. We share so much more than what separates us as one human family. This is beautiful. Thank you, everybody. And freedom, hopeful, peace, grateful, love, joy. Thanks, everyone.
There are 3 pieces of matzah on the table. We take the middle piece and in a moment break it into 2 pieces. This is the matzah that many of us have on our table, but some might also want to take a look at handmade shmura or guarded matzah. The larger piece is hidden, the piece we're about to break, and eaten at the end of the Seder. It's known as the afikomen, a Greek word for dessert. As a slave never eats all of their food, but leaves some hidden away for later, we end our Seder with this hidden piece of matzah. Often the children of the Seder find the afikomen and ransom it back, since it's needed for the Seder to be complete. And searching for this hidden afikomen keeps us paying attention to the details of the ritual and engages us. Tonight is a reminder for our Seder. We'll also search for an afikomen by looking for the Jerry Special afikomen. Take a picture if you see it and send it in. Matzah is known as lechem oni, the bread of poverty. It's a reminder of the bread that we ate as slaves and of the bread of freedom that we ate when we didn't let our bread rise, but ate it as flat, unleavened bread. It's all a matter of perspective. Are we mourning our slavery or celebrating our freedom, or both? Why do we break this matzah but not eat it until later? It's a symbol of the skimpy fare of our ancestors. The Maggid of Koznitz taught that this is your heart. With a broken heart, he said, we can become free. A reminder that a portion of the tip jar tonight will go to Mazon, a Jewish response to hunger. Even if all we have is a little, we are to share it with others, those in need. Breaking bread is a symbol of hospitality. We are about to invite the needy and hungry to eat with us and to share with us.
Cheryl?
Oh, I thought someone was before me. Sorry. Why are the 4 questions asked and never directly answered in the Haggadah? To this question, there are more than 4 answers. Questioning is a sign of freedom, proof that we're free to investigate, to analyze, to satisfy our intellectual curiosity. The simplest question can have many answers, sometimes complex and contradictory ones, even as life itself is fraught with complexity and contradictions. To see everything as good or bad, matzah or maror, is to be enslaved to simplicity. The Haggadah challenges us to ask ourselves whether we're asking the right questions. To accept the fact that not every question has an answer, that not every problem can be neatly resolved, is another stage of liberation, in the same way that questioning is a sign of freedom. Acknowledging that some things are beyond our understanding is a sign of faith. When we find the answers for ourselves, we find ourselves experiencing and understanding the true meaning of the Exodus.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Wait, are we? Oh, yeah, we're unmuted.
Manishtana halayla hazeh mikol halelot, mikol halelot, halayla hazeh, mikol halelot, shebechol halelot, anu achlim chametzu matzah, chametzu matzah. Halayla hazeh kulo matzah. Halayla hazeh kulo matzah. Shebechol halelot anu ochlim she'ar yirakot, she'ar yirakot. Halayla hazeh maror, maror. Halayla hazeh maror, maror. Shebechol halelot ein anu mafilim afilu pa'am echad, afilu pa'am echad. Halayla hazeh shetei amim. Halayla hazeh shetei amim. Shebechol halelot anu ochlim ben yoshvinu ben misuvim, ben yoshvinu ben misuvim. Halayla hazeh kulanu misuvim. Halayla hazeh kulanu misuvim.
How different this night is from all other nights. On all other nights we eat either hametz or matzah. Why on this night do we only eat matzah? On all other nights we eat all kinds of vegetables. Why on this night must we eat bitter herbs? On all other nights we do not usually dip vegetables even once. Why on this night twice? On all other nights we eat either sitting upright or reclining. Why on this night we eat only reclining?
Isidore Isaac Rabi, the Nobel laureate in physics, was once asked, "Why did you become a scientist rather than a doctor or a lawyer or a businessman, like the other immigrant kids in your neighborhood?" He was the guy that was instrumental in coming up with magnetic resonance imaging, MRIs. "My mother made me a scientist without ever intending it. Every other Jewish mother in Brooklyn would ask her child after school, 'No, did you learn anything today?' But not my mother. She always asked me a different question. 'Izzy, Izzy,' she'd say, 'did you ask a good question today?' That difference, asking good questions, made me become a scientist."
The 4 questions. The goal of the Passover Haggadah is to encourage us and future generations to discuss the journey from slavery to freedom. The first 2 questions and their answers both symbolize and remind us of the burdens of slavery. And the second 2 questions and their answers both symbolize and remind us of the glory of freedom. These questions should be understood by all participants. We offer a plethora of versions, hopefully to suit all in attendance.
Karen, can we have the 4 questions in Spanish?
Sí, porque es diferente esta noche de todas las otras noches. En todas las otras noches comemos pan hecho con levadura o pan ácimo. En esta noche solamente matzah.
Thank you. And Pam, can we have a little Valley Girl?
Like why on this one?
Pam, we're waiting on the Valley Girl.
I got it.
You got
Somebody spotlight me. Spotlight me.
it. You're set.
Yay. Like, why is this night like totally different from all other nights? It's like the rest of the time we eat this really fattening like bread stuff or crackers, but like tonight we eat only gnarly thin stuff, which is good because like it's faster and I have to get my nails done. Like the rest of the time, it's like we eat any kind of salad we want, but like tonight we only eat gross bitter stuff that brings tears to your like eyes and like ruins your mascara. It's like all year you put vegetables in the avocado dip once, but like tonight it's sort of like total greed and you get to do it like twice. It's like all year it's really gross because you have to sit up totally straight because your parents just said so, and it's like you're only there in the first place because they wouldn't let you go out with that guy from Van Nuys, and you're like you're from the nice part of San Encino. Anyway, tonight's totally awesome because you can like sit up or like lounge around or do anything you want for sure. And isn't that like great? Totally.
Thank you, Pam. Totally great. Evan, for a change of pace, can you wax eloquently a la the bard?
Mm-hmm. We look from friend to friend and talk of them. Why dark of night is different to us on this occasion, such that brings us here. When time is of the norm, we eat bread that riles like Apollo in the morn. Or else we fill our plates without the chance that ye shall work its physic on our food. But this night, just the latter doth suffice.
Cheryl, I understand we have a communique from the Klingon homeworld.
Keith, Pimla, Ramvam, Rame, Letilaje, Kastivas, Tame, Hoch, Hametz, Matzah, Jetisop, Ach, Kastavis, Ramvam, Matzah, Me, Westap.
And Jeff, do we have a sullen teenager at our table?
Why does this night have to be different from other nights? Do I have to eat matzah? I'm not eating that horseradish. Besides, if I don't eat vegetables during the year, why should I eat anything tonight? Can you tell Ezra to get his hand out of my salt water?
And of course, our reciting of the 4 questions wouldn't be complete without the Deadhead version. Jana, you're on.
Why can't we eat veggie burritos tonight? Will I be miracled? Will they play the wheel? Will Phil sing?
Avadim hayinu lefar'o b'Mitzrayim, ata b'nei chorin. We were slaves to Pharaoh in Mitzrayim, now we are free. We were slaves to Pharaoh in Mitzrayim, but Adonai brought us forth with a mighty hand and with an outstretched arm. And if the Holy One had not taken our ancestors out of Mitzrayim, then we and our children and our children's children would still be enslaved to Pharaoh in Mitzrayim. Now, even if all of us were scholars, even if all of us were sages, even if all of us were elders, even if all of us were learned, it would still be our duty to tell the story of the Exodus from Mitzrayim. Moreover, whoever elaborates upon the story of the Exodus deserves praise.
This year, we'll pay extra attention to the stories of those who remain enslaved today. America was born with the congenital disease of slavery, and legal or not, it has never left us. Today, we're still conflicted about our slave past and its ugly aftermath. We study it, lament it, and argue it as a haunting presence from our dark history. Yet, while we were looking the other way, slavery in America evolved into a whole new beast that lives in darkness among us and feeds on ignorance and misery. Only through our awareness, our concern, and our commitment can it be driven out. Most of us don't know that slavery not only exists throughout the world today, it flourishes. Slavery is legal nowhere, yet it is practiced everywhere, with an estimated 27 million people in bondage worldwide. Most Americans are clueless that slavery is alive and flourishing right here, thriving in the dark, and we should know about it. The simple truth is, humans keep slaves and always have. Tonight, we must acknowledge that nearly 150 years after the end of the slave trade, the fight to end this global scourge is far from over. Today, it takes a different form, and we call it by a different name, human trafficking. But it is still an affront to basic human dignity in the United States and around the world.
We are slaves because today, around the world, there remain people in chains, and no one can be truly free while others are in chains. We are slaves because freedom means more than broken chains. Where there is poverty and hunger and homelessness, there is no freedom. Where there is prejudice and bigotry and discrimination, there is no freedom. Where there is violence and torture and war, there is no freedom. And where each of us is less than he or she or they might be, we are not yet free. Where any of us fail to use our freedom to make others free, we are not yet free. If these things are so, who among us can say that he or she or they is free? Therefore, when we say that this year we are slaves, but that next year we shall be free, we make a pledge that it will be so. Every year we come closer while acknowledging that the road to freedom is not an easy one.
Brian, unmute. Brian, you need to unmute.
The Israelites arrived in Mitzrayim as free people. Joseph had saved the land and all of the surrounding regions from a terrible famine. The family, also known as Hebrews, were honored until Joseph died, and they grew into a large tribe. But after the death of Joseph, there arose a new king in Mitzrayim who knew not Joseph. Some commentaries say chose not to know Joseph. And he said to his people, "Let us deal wisely with the Israelites, lest they multiply." Pharaoh's way of dealing with his hatred and fear was to enslave the Hebrews. They were forced into backbreaking labor to build cities of treasured houses for Pharaoh, but still the Hebrews continued to multiply. To put a stop to this, Pharaoh summoned the midwives Shiphrah and Puah and commanded them to kill all Israelite newborn males. But the midwives defied his order. So Pharaoh commanded that all newborn Israelite males be thrown into the Nile. A baby boy was born, and his mother kept him hidden for 3 months. When she could no longer hide him, she put her child in a basket to float down the Nile. The child's sister Miriam hid among the reeds to watch the child. Pharaoh's daughter came to bathe in the river, saw the baby, and her compassion was aroused. So she adopted him, naming him Moses, he who was drawn from the water. Moses grew up and left the palace and discovered the hardship of his brothers and sisters. He saw an Egyptian taskmaster beating his Hebrew slave and killed the Egyptian. The next day he saw 2 Hebrews fighting. When he was admonished them, he threatened to reveal his deed of the previous day, and Moses was forced to flee to the desert. Years later, while Moses was a shepherd, he came upon a burning bush, from which Adonai told him to go to Pharaoh and demand, "Let my people go." While Moses was reluctant, with his older brother Aaron as his spokesman, they made their case. Pharaoh refused to let them go and intensify their suffering by commanding the taskmasters to cease bringing the Israelites straw to make their bricks. Then came the plagues, 10 signs and wonders designed to make it clear that Pharaoh was not in control of his kingdom. He couldn't even control what happened to him. But after each one, he hardened his heart and refused to free the Hebrew slaves. On the night of the last plague, the Israelites marked their doors with an offering, and death passed over them. This 10th plague, the death of the firstborn, finally broke Pharaoh's stubbornness, and he literally ordered the Israelites to leave his land. They departed so hastily that there was no time for their dough to rise, and they took with them matzah, unleavened bread. Soon after allowing the Israelites to depart, Pharaoh chased after them to force their return, and the Israelites found themselves trapped between Pharaoh's armies and the sea. The Israelites cried out, and Adonai told Moses to raise his staff over the water, and the sea split to allow the Israelites to pass through. It is said that the Israelites entered Mitzrayim as a group of tribes and left Mitzrayim as one nation.
Yet there's someone kind of missing from the Haggadah, and it's Moses. Moses is the star of the Ten Commandments movie, and he's the star of the Prince of Egypt movie. Starts out as a baby floating in a basket, and he becomes a rebel leader who confronts a tyrant. He's Charlton Heston and an imposing statue by Michelangelo. But in the classical Haggadah text, Moses' name appears exactly once. And even then, it's just a passing reference as being God's servant. It's because the editors of the Haggadah did not want to give Moses the status of saint or Messiah or even lead character. The editors of the Haggadah wanted us to know that the Exodus was not because of anything Moses did. It was all because of God. And there are 5 women in Moses' life whose names and deeds do not appear in the Haggadah. But these 5 women's willingness to take risks and get involved in the face of injustice, as recorded in the Torah, are crucial to the eventual liberation. Here's the Haggadah's quintet. Shifra and Puah, 2 courageous Egyptian midwives who disobey Pharaoh's order to drown all newborn Hebrew males. They midwife the births, they save the babies, and then they talk the jive to cover it up. Yocheved, Moses' mother, hides her baby and then sets him adrift, hoping and trusting that the muddy river of infanticide will instead save him. Batya, the daughter of Pharaoh, rescues a baby boy floating in a basket in the river. She knows it's a Hebrew male, and she still brazenly defies her own father's decree. Batya names the baby Moshe and announces that she will raise him in Pharaoh's household. Last but not least, Miriam, Moses' big sister, engineers her own convenient appearance in the rescue scene to step in and arrange for Moses' birth mother to nurse him until he can be weaned and join Pharaoh's household. Midrashic tradition also teaches that it was Miriam who convinced her parents to have another child, even at the risk of it being a boy. In celebration of this quintet of courageous women of Passover, we raise our glasses for an extra kiddush to honor them. Each one acted to do what she knew was right, listening to the still, small voice within, and thereby changing the course of history. This quintet of exceptional women teaches us what we need to fix the world: decisive action while maintaining concern for others, even when it may be better to save your own skin. Because of the actions of this quintet, Moses became the leader who was able to confront Pharaoh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen. We are thankful to you, source of life, for creating the fruit of the vine. This extra cup is the cup of nurturance, empathy, and compassion.
We remove 1 drop of wine from our filled cups for each plague. We glory in our liberation, but we do not gloat over our fallen foes. As we prepare to recite the traditional 10 plagues of the Passover story, let us pause to reflect on another age-old plague that continues to strike around the world today. With tragic frequency, women and girls experience violence in their homes, schools, and streets. In the 21st century, 1/3 of all women worldwide will one day experience abuse at the hands of a parent, partner, spouse, or stranger. As we read the 10 plagues, it is traditional to spill drops of wine from our cups, representing our sorrow for the suffering the Egyptians endure. This year, As these drops spread across our plates, let us turn our hearts towards the millions of women and girls around the world who suffer from the plagues of gender-based violence.
Ilu eser makot shehevi hakadosh baruch hu al hamitzrim b'mitzrayim ve'elu hein. These are the 10 plagues that the Holy One brought upon the Egyptians. As we recite them, we take a drop of wine from our cup so we do not celebrate completely at the sorrow of someone else. Dam, blood. Bardea, frogs. Kinim, lice. Arov, wild beasts. Dever, cattle disease. Shchin, boils. Barad, hail. Arbeh, locusts. Choshech, darkness. Makat bechorot, killing of the firstborn.
As we recite the plague of blood, let us comfort and mourn those women whose blood has been spilled. As we recite the plagues of frogs, lice, and locusts, let us quell the swarm of assaults. As we recite the plague of wild animals, let us appeal to all people to act with humanity. As we recite the plague of pestilence, let us pledge to keep women safe from harm. As we recite the plague of boils, let us heal wounds and hearts. As we recite the plague of hail, let us decry the beating of fists against mothers, daughters, and sisters. As we recite the plague of darkness, let us vow to bring light to those who bear shame and pain. And as we recite the plague of the firstborn, let us empower the next generation to live free from violence and fear.
This Passover, may the 10 plagues stir us to action. May we speak out against violence against women and girls in our communities and around the world. May we call upon our leaders to create a circle of safety that empowers and protects. And may we support women and girls worldwide to use their voices and their power to end this plague, achieve freedom, and live full and peaceful lives.
Okay. All right. They were technical details.
Daenu, Daenu. Ilu Natan, Natan Lanu, Natan Lanu et Yeshua, Natan Lanu et Yeshua, Daenu. Dai, Daenu, Dai, Daenu, Dai, Daenu, 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 Dai, Daenu, Dai, Daenu, Dai, Daenu, Daenu, Daenu.
Treat all living creatures, starting with ourselves, with loving kindness, Dayenu, it would be enough. If we could see how short and precious life is and take care of ourselves without having to be reminded through tragedy or ill health, Dayenu, it would be enough. If we could listen to each other when we share, if we could regularly feel heard and understood, Dayenu, it would be enough. If we could give and receive all of the intimacy, affection, support, and nurturance we need to and from appropriate sources, Dayenu, it would be enough. If the children of the world receive the good, caring parenting, schooling, and feeding that allow them to grow into healthy adults, Dayenu, it would be enough. If we could see tikkun olam, universal healing in our lifetimes, Dayenu, Dayenu, it would be enough.
On that day, Israel went forth to freedom and made their way to the Sea of Reeds. Cloud by day, fire by night, Adonai's presence went before them. Pharaoh's heart hardened once again, and he dispatched his troops to recapturing the fleeing slaves. The people stood uncertain, before them the sea, behind them the armies of Pharaoh. As they stood at the edge of the sea, each one said, "I will not be the first to enter." While they stood there, a man named Nahshon, son of Aminadav, leapt into the sea, and only then did the others follow. They plunged into the waters, going farther and farther until it seemed the waters would cover them completely. But when the water was up to their noses, the sea split. Only when they had gone as far as they could from their own efforts did the waters part for them. The people overcame their fear, as all must in every generation who would be free. For the human fate has been exile and oppression again and again, and the human task to find the will to overcome. As the Israelites became one through their journey in the desert, now more than ever, we need to become one. One in heart, one in song, one in spirit, and one in action, as we build our Terrapin Nation into that unbroken chain that will connect us all as we work to repair our world.
And all gave thanks for having crossed Yam Suf in safety. And Miriam, the prophet, who foretold the birth of Moses, took a timbrel in her hands, and all the women went out after her with timbrels and with dances. What better way to begin a new cycle? How did the timbrels happen to materialize on the windswept shores of the Sea of Reeds? How did the women happen to have them in their hand luggage? What would you have taken if you were required at short notice to leave your home for a journey of unspecified duration to an unidentified destination? Household goods, clothing, family treasures. The women in this predicament had enough imagination and enough faith to pack musical instruments. They knew that God would perform miracles for them, and they wanted to be ready to celebrate.
An important teaching of the ancient rabbis. At the splitting of the sea, the angels wanted to sing their own song along with that of Moses and Miriam and the Israelites. But the Holy Blessed One said, "The work of my hands, the Egyptians are drowning at the sea, and you wish to sing me songs?" As it says in the book of Proverbs, "Do not rejoice over the downfall of your enemies." We sing songs and rejoice in our freedom, not in the drowning of the Egyptians, as was taught in the Talmud, Tractate Megillah, page 14b.
So let it be written. So let it be done.
God came to you, sent you to me. Something about letting your people go free. Spell it out clearly so I understand. Pharaoh to brother, man to man. See, I am the ruler of this world. My fist unclenched, my flag unfurled. So if that's what you came here about, I'll be calling my God. How to show you out. So let it be written, so let it be done. Don't you go killing every newborn son. So let it be written, so let it be done. Listen to the tale that I recount, tending my flock at the foot of the mount. To my surprise, how could this be? The Lord in a burning bush spoke to me. He said, take this message to old Pharaoh. You better let my people go. If you don't do what I tell you to, God will visit his wrath unto you. So much that by the 40th day he said, take your curse and leave my land. I never wanna see hear your people again. So let it be written, so let it be done. Don't you go killing every newborn son. Take your people out on the run. So let it be written, so let it be done. So let it be done. Yeah. So let it be done.
Bravo, Jordan. That was awesome. An instant classic, our new Passover theme song. So let it be written, so let it be done. Okay, folks, this is the last time that we're going to do the Menti board. And now that we're in this place of, freedom from oppression, bye-bye, Pharaoh, we're done. Take a moment, reach into your heart, and tell us what you're grateful for. That's what the last Menti is. Go to thementi.com, enter the code 775-1196, or scan the QR code. And what are you grateful for? That should be just like whatever, what comes up first in your mind, put it in there. What are you most grateful for? And in this very, very moment, I'm not entering it. I'm grateful for family, community, music, all this wonderful stuff. What a glorious celebration we're having. Let's see what's emerging on our Menti word cloud. Do, 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 do. Let's hear from you. Community. Wow, isn't it great to see community right in the middle of that? Music, health, family, return of live music, love, Terrapin Nation. Yay, shout out to Terrapin Nation. Community still holding it down. Music, family, health, Jewish Deadheads, my girlfriend, my lover, Seder, yay, Seder. Live music, vaccines, sun. The sunshine, all hail the sunshine. I'm celebrating that. This is beautiful, folks. Thank you. Keep on putting hugs, Jewish Deadheads, healing music, teaching, compassion, human kindness, the whole universe. Hugs, 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 hugs. Yay. All right. Well, we're saving all these. I've been saving all these, and we'll share them with everybody afterwards. Thank you, everybody.
Rabban Gamliel used to say, all who have not explained the significance of three things during the Pesach Seder have not yet fulfilled their obligation. These three things are the Pesach offering, matzah, and maror. Rabban Gamliel haya omer, kol shlo amar shlosha divarim elu bepesach, lo yatsa yedeh chovato be'elu hen, Pesach, matzah, umaror.
Why did our ancestors eat the Pesach offering? At the Seder, as a reminder that the Holy One passed over our dwellings in Mitzrayim. As it is written, you shall say, it is the Pesach offering to Adonai, because Adonai passed over the houses of the Israelites in Mitzrayim, when he smote the Egyptians and spared our homes.
Why do we eat it? To remind ourselves that even before the dough had time to rise, Adonai self-revealed and redeemed us, as it is written. And they baked the dough which they had brought from Mitzrayim into unleavened cakes, and it did not rise, since they were hurried out of Mitzrayim, and they could not delay, nor had they prepared other provisions for themselves.
Maror. Why do we eat it? To remind ourselves that, as it is written, the Egyptians in Mitzrayim embittered our lives with hard labor in mortar and in brick, and in every manner of drudgery in the field, and worked them ruthlessly in all their labor.
B'chol dor vador chayav adam lirot et atzmo ki'ilu hu yatsa mimitzrayim. In every generation, one is obligated to see oneself as one who personally went out from Egypt.
This seems to be a timely song in the program.
Okay, turn it on again now, honey.
Well, there ain't no bread in the bread box, cause we ain't got no dough, and it seems like we ain't got enough time to fooling around no more. Working so hard for so long, well, you got to show. Open up your eyes, darling. Let's pack up your things and go. Open up your eyes, darling. Don't wanna live here no more. Open up your eyes, darling. Been here for far too long. Open up your eyes, darling. This time
late December on a cold winter day. I just finished bringing wood in the kitchen when I heard my Amanda say, she said, Elijah, you better look around. Things ain't like they used to be. Times getting hard on you and me. Wake up, Daddy, it's time to shake things down. There ain't no bread in the bread box. We ain't got no dough. Seems like we ain't got enough time to fool around here no more. Worked so hard for so long. What have you got to show? Open up your eyes, darling. Let's pack up the things and go. Open up your eyes, darling. Don't wanna live here no more. Open up your eyes, darling. We've been here for far too long. Open up your eyes, darling. It's time to move on. Ain't no bread in the big box. We ain't got no dough. Whoa, seems like we ain't got no time to hang around here no more. We've been working hard for oh so long. What have you got to show? Open up your eyes, darling. Let's pack up the things and go. Open up your eyes, darling. Don't wanna be here no more. Open up your eyes, darling. Been here for far too long. Open up your eyes, darling. It's time to move on.
We are about to continue with our second cup, which will be followed by hand washing with a blessing before we eat our festive meal. All Jewish holiday meals start with a blessing over wine or grape juice to give thanks for the holiday. At the Seder, we add 3 additional glasses, or at least 3 additional glasses. The second cup is an opportunity to give thanks for our redemption, the ways that we have been helped and saved.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. We are thankful to you, source of the universe, for creating the fruit of the vine. The second cup is the cup of deliverance from slavery, the cup devoted to us asking for what we need. Now we have the ritual hand washing with a blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al netilat yadayim. We are thankful to you, source of the universe, for sanctifying our lives through your mitzvot, commanding us to perform this ritual washing of our hands.
Okay, everybody get your piece of matzah out. And
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We are thankful to you, source of the universe, for bringing forth bread from the earth.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al achilat matzah. We are thankful to you, source of the universe, for sanctifying our lives through your mitzvot and commanding us to eat matzah.
Matzah is the
I
most.
think we're going to go to Jenna now.
Going back to Jenna.
Matzah is the most basic bread, the simplest food made by humans. Matzah is a combination of the basic elements: earth, water, air, and fire. The ingredients of matzah are flour and fresh water, nothing more. Flour from grains. Grains grow from the clay of the earth. Nourished by the sun and the soil, they are cut down and ground into dust. Fresh water from the sky appears like manna, a gift from Adonai. When fresh water is breathed into the dusty flour, the sweet sugars hidden in the dough are released. Yeast, a bacteria found naturally in the air, enters the dough to eat its sweet sugars. Their lifespan is limited to 18 minutes, no more, preventing overpopulation and fermentation of the dough's sweet sugars. The dough is poked and prodded, preventing it from becoming gaseous or puffed up. Quickly, to overcome the influences and limitations of time, the matzah is baked. Acting with zeal and speed, the matzah is flat, even, and humble, the foundation of spiritual growth. The words mitzvah and matzah are analogous. As it is said, when a mitzvah comes your way, do not allow it to ferment. Or simply put, when the opportunity to do mitzvah arises, seize it. As we perform the mitzvah of eating matzah, may we be inspired with a heightened connection to Adonai, to our world, and to each other, steeped with a deep awareness of time and a greater zeal in all that we do.
Personally, I cannot imagine Pesach without horseradish. Its combination of intense pleasure and pain makes a good analog for the bittersweet nature of our memories at Pesach. No longer with us or far away. We give our brief lives added dimension by linking them to the pain and triumph of Jewish history. As the Irish fiddler Seamus Connolly once said, in the name of his mother, we're never so happy as when we're crying. We never enjoy the horseradish so much as when it brings tears to our eyes.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al achilat maror. We are thankful to you, source of the universe, for sanctifying our lives through mitzvot, commanding us to eat maror.
Back in Hillel's day, they would make a sandwich of the roasted lamb, horseradish, and matzah. Today we make a sandwich with horseradish and haroset between two pieces of matzah in fulfillment of the universe. Of the verse, with matzah and moror they shall eat it. We have already said the blessing. So Bitei avon, which means good appetite, bon appetit, and here is our Hillel sandwich.
It is customary to begin the meal with eggs dipped in salt water. Adding spice to our feast of freedom is the fact that we are free to select our own interpretations of its symbols. Most foods become softer the longer they are boiled, with the exception of eggs. The more you boil them, the harder they become. This is also true of the parts of ourselves that we try to hide, that we think we are setting aside. They too become tougher the more we let them boil. Another interpretation compares our people to the egg. The more we were made to toil or boil in Mitzrayim, the tougher we became. An egg is also the symbol of life, of new beginnings. Eaten at the first meal after a funeral, it symbolizes the cycle of life and the hope for the future. Eastern European families often eat a cold soup comprised of salt water, hard-boiled eggs, and boiled potatoes, which were often used in lieu of the out-of-season parsley.
We dip this egg in salt to be reminded that there are tears that must be accompanied with births and new beginnings. There are tears that accompany death and letting go. I honor the beginning and the endings and the letting go of living creatures in my life whose presence hurt me, of places that don't feel good for me, of ways of earning my living that harm me. Whatever it is that I need to let go of to make room for the new beginning.
All right, and now we get to the part of our meal where we're going to eat. But first, I wanted to tell you that I want to make sure that everybody on Facebook is prepared to participate in finding the Afikoman. The Afikoman may have appeared already. It might appear again. There's a very good chance you'll see it pop up somewhere on the screen during the music. So keep an eye out for just an Afikoman appearing somewhere on the screen. You're going to want to grab a picture of that, either a screenshot or a picture with your phone, and you'll want to email that to afikoman@deadheadland.com, and we'll post that, afikoman@deadheadland.com, and we're going to pick a winner from all the people that send in screenshots or phone pictures. When you see that, there's a very good chance you're going to see that somewhere on the screen during the music. And speaking of the music, while we're eating dinner, we've got some great entertainment, and we've got a really big show for you. And some great bands. We've got Scott Guberman, Mookie Siegel, Brian Rashap, Leslie Mendelson, Lebo Moore. So take it away with the music.
As I was walking around Grosvenor Square, got a jilt in the middle, a dip to the air. From the other direction, she was calling mine. Could be an illusion, but I might as well try, might as well try. She rings on her fingers, bells on her shoes. Without asking, she was into the blues. Scarlet begonias, talking to the girls. Right away, she was not like other girls, other girls. In the heat of the evening, when the theater got rough, she backed open, too cool to blow. As I picked up my matches, it was closing the door. Had one of those flashes, I've been there before, did that before. Well, I ain't been right, but I've never been wrong. So it turns out the way it does in the song. Once in a while, you get shown the light, the strangest of places if you look at it right. Scarlet begonias are a touch of the blues. There's nothing wrong with the look that's in your eye. Have to learn the hard way to let her pass by, let her pass by. too. The sky was yellow and the sun was blue. Strangers stopping strangers just to shake their hands. Everybody's playing in the heart of gold band, heart of gold band. Thank you.
Sitting here in limbo, like a bird without a song. Sitting here in limbo, knowing that it won't be long. Well, they're putting up resistance, but I know my faith will lead me on. Sitting here in limbo, waiting for the die to roll. sitting here in limbo. Got some time to search my soul. Well, they're putting up resistance, but I know, oh, my faith will lead me on. I don't know what life will show me, but I know what I've seen. I can't say where life will lead me, but I know where I've been. Tried my hand at love and friendship, but that's all past and gone. And this little boy is moving on. Sitting here in limbo, waiting for the tides to flow. Sitting here in limbo, knowing that I have to go. Well, they're putting up resistance, but I know, oh, my faith will lead me on. Show me, but I know what I've seen, and I can't say where life will lead me. Oh, but I know where I've been. Tried my hand at love and friendship, but that's all past and gone. And this little boy is moving on. Sitting here in limbo, waiting for the tides to flow. Sitting here in limbo, knowing that I have to go. Well, they're putting up resistance, but I know, oh, my faith will lead me on. Well, they're putting up resistance, but I know, oh, my faith will lead me on. Well, they're putting up resistance, but I know my faith will lead me on.
Happy Passover, everybody. We can't wait to be able to do this with you in person, hopefully real soon. Take care of yourselves and everybody around you. And until then, big hugs. All right, hit it, Maestro. Great. Happy Passover. Love the rash apps.
Right. Here we go. One, two, three. Oh, wait, hold on 1 second. Oh, there we go. 1, 2, 3. Sitting here eating chopped liver and carrots, waiting for the Seder to start. Ready to recline with my fellow Hebrews. This gefilte fish is off the chart.
right, hey everybody. That was amazing. Oh my God, I loved that. That was so great. Never would I have thought of putting Donna Summer and Passover all into one thing, but Leslie Mendelsohn just did that, and excellently. I'm going to be laughing all night with that. So this is great, and it's great to be here with you all. I hope you all are enjoying your dinner. You earned it. We had a lot to think about. A lot of words were said, and I'm feeling some of that inspiration. And I'm going to do a tune, but before I do this song, I wanted to take a second just to acknowledge something that it's not only our Passover celebration here for the Terrapin Nation. It's not only that, but it happens to be the anniversary of a very special entity, and that entity is Deadheadland. And really want to express, I think I can speak for everyone when I say this, just how amazing Brian, aka Happy Cat, has been for this community. Like he just gives and gives, and he offers so much. This is the
I know, I was definitely the best.
I heard Leslie there for a second, but yeah, I want to take a minute to say it. I recently found out what his very first post was about, and it was actually an April Fool's post, and it was something about Bobby and Phil being on American Idol, which I know got some laughs, and probably spread the Deadheadland name far and wide. Good move there. So I just want to take a minute to show love, and I know you all want to do it too, and I know some other folks want to show it too. So maybe we can go around with some images here. Yeah, there you go. Happy anniversary, Deadheadland, just like that. Brian, we love you, really. There you go. And you know, while we're looking at these, people made, I'll just say a little something here that the music.
Anniversary.
Happy anniversary. Oh, thank you so much. That's just like, oh my gosh, that's, thank you.
Mazel tov.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And you surprised me.
Anniversary.
These signs.
Happy anniversary.
Yay, Brian. Thank you for all you bring this community.
Oh, thank you all so much. It's so sweet of you. So very kind of you.
Like a good Jew, you made a blessing out of a hardship.
Happy anniversary.
Hey, Brian, thanks for what you do to keep the community together during this awful pandemic when we've been forced to be apart. So thank you for what you do.
I'm very touched. I'm very touched.
We love you, Brian.
Yeah, you know what the thing is here is that the musicians have had no shortage of music because we play music all the time. But usually, I mean, for all of time, we've had a certain way of connecting with the music listeners, and it's clearly a two-way street, right? It doesn't work without both. And Brian has been the conduit during this whole year. He's been the number one guy. Make it happen. Making our music get out to all your ears. And in exchange for that, it's like your guys' energy comes back to us musicians. And so I mean it from the bottom of my heart, Brian. Thank you. You've been a shining light all year, and I can't wait to see where you take it next.
Next year at Terrapin.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
Coming clear from Eugene, Oregon, I have to say you guys are so far away and yet so close today. And I can't tell you how much I love you. Thank you all so much.
All right, well,
Brian.
I'm going to sing a song, I think, at this moment. And yeah, but all the love for Brian. We mean it. This was a Happy Cat request, actually. I'm honoring the Happy Cat request right now. you down when you see child light. Let me tell you, if you're not wrong, everything is alright. We gonna walk through the roads of creation. We, the generation, tried through great tribulation. It was in Exodus, movement of your people now. It was in Exodus, oh yeah, movement of your people. Open your eyes, look within. Are you satisfied with the life you're living? We know where we're going, we know where we're from. Live in Babylon, we're going to our fatherland. Was in Exodus, movement of your people now. It was in Exodus, oh yeah, movement of your people now.
We love you, Happy Cat. Welcome back, everyone.
Wasn't that a great first set? We have so much more music and a little bit more Seder with music. Now that we finished our meal, we are ready to fulfill the mitzvah of eating the afikomen. The afikomen, hidden and now redeemed, is a reminder of the Pesach sacrifice, which was eaten on a full stomach during the days of the temple. Enjoy the afikomen.
Pesach is a holiday celebrating our reunion with the lost part of ourselves. Often hiding and separation are essential stages in our life. In the biblical story of the Exodus, both Moses and God played hide and seek. Moshe was hidden for 3 months from Pharaoh until adopted by Pharaoh's daughter. God's face was hidden until revelation at the burning bush. All Israel encountered God face to face at Mount Sinai. On Seder night, we hide and seek the afikomen, reuniting the two parts separated at the beginning of the Seder. May we learn to discover the lost parts of ourselves, to become reconciled with relatives and friends who have become distant, and to find wholeness in a Jewish tradition from which we have become alienated.
Julian, we're ready to start.
Yeah, okay. Sorry. Baruch atah Adonai, Azan es hakol. We are thankful to you, source of the universe, who nourishes the whole world. May we never be in want of food, and may we always work to provide food for all. Thanks be to you, Adonai, who gives us the ability to feed all. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'aretz ve'hamazon. We are thankful to you, source of the universe, for having given us a beautiful, good, and spacious land, for having taken us out of Egypt and redeemed us from slavery, for your covenant, for your Torah, which you have taught us, for the loaf, grace, and kindness, love, grace, and kindness you have granted us, and for the food which sustains us at all times.
Todd?
Oh, there you go. Sorry.
That's it.
All right. The third blessing for Jerusalem. Baruch atah Adonai, boneh barachamar Yerushalayim. Amen. We are thankful to you, source of the universe, for the holy city of Jerusalem and our homeland of Israel. We pray for peace between cousins, between the children of Abraham, Isaac and Jacob, and between the children of Abraham and Ishmael. We pray for peace in Jerusalem and in all other places where there's still conflict and strife. May all people live together side by side in peace and harmony. Thank you for the moments of mercy when you build and rebuild both the geographic Jerusalem as well as the Jerusalems of the Spirit, the sacred spaces. The fourth blessing for loving kindness. Baruch atah Adonai hatov v'hamativ lakol. We are thankful to you, source of the universe, for bringing to us the light of goodness and mercy, success and blessing, comfort and support, life and peace. May we be worthy of your blessings.
If anybody needs to, we invite you to fill your glass for the third cup of wine. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. We are thankful to you, source of the universe, for creating the fruit of the vine. The third cup is the cup of the promise of redemption, the cup devoted to action, the cup of doing.
different guises in his variegated role as companion and protector of his people, and there are many legends of his miraculous mediations on behalf of the poor and persecuted. But his most important mission is yet to be accomplished, for he is to be the herald of the Messianic era. But his return and the dawn of this truly new age are thought to be dependent on people's actions, on the way we treat ourselves, each other, all living creatures, and the earth. For it is only when people have reached a high level of humanity, when we practice loving kindness in all facets of our lives, the possibility of the Messianic era can become a reality. Certainly, this is a night of openness as we open our minds to new understandings, new revelations, new possibilities for growth.
A quote from the diary of Anne Frank, Amsterdam, 1944. It's really a wonder that I haven't dropped all my ideals because they seem so absurd and impossible to carry out. Yet I keep them because in spite of everything, I still believe that people are really good at heart. I simply can't build my hopes on a foundation consisting of confusion, misery, and death. I see the world gradually being turned into a wilderness. I hear the ever-approaching thunder, which will destroy us too. I can feel the sufferings of millions, and yet if I look up into the heavens, I think it'll come out all right, that the cruelty too will end, and that peace and tranquility will return again. In the meantime, I must uphold my ideals, for perhaps a time will come when I shall be able to carry them out.
Hallel, from the root word to praise, is simply that, a series of prayers in praise of Adonai for all Adonai has done for us. Prayer is meant to be a meditative act, not an asking act. Our prayers remind us that we are part of something greater than ourselves, reinforcing our links to our community. Prayer is primarily communal, not solitary. We pray to calm ourselves, to relieve stress, to remind ourselves that there are people who can help us when we are troubled, to remind ourselves and our community to be grateful for what we have, to remind ourselves and our community to do more to help those in need. Throughout the Haggadah, we are reminded of how fortunate we are. We were slaves and now we are free, but others are still in bondage. We were hungry and now we have more than enough, but others are still starving. We had little to be thankful for before, and now we are prosperous, but others are still suffering. So we recite prayers praising God as we conclude the Seder. These prayers aren't about what we want or need. Rather, they're a celebration of the holiday and of our community, and a reminder to help those who struggle. They remind us of who we are and where we come from and how much harder we need to work to live up to our highest ideals.
We are now going to sing our psalm of praise, our Hallel. We're going to use the words of Psalm 150. And I love doing this psalm. The words talk about using lots of different instruments to praise God. And to me, that just speaks to how important each of our own unique voices, our own unique vibrations are in this world, and that the collective, beautiful sound of all of our prayers, of all of the words of our hearts and the sounds of our voices coming together is what really ascends to the heavens and breaks it open. And may all of our prayers be answered. May all of our prayers be heard. Hallelujah, Bekodsho, Hallelujah, Birkia Uzo, Hallelujah, Bigivurota, Hallelujah, Kerov Gulo, Hallelujah, Beteka Shofar, Hallelujah, Nevel Vechinor. Hallelujah. הללוהו בתוף ומחול, הללוהו במניל ועוגב, הללוהו בצלצלי שמיים, הללוהו בצלצלי תרועה, כל אנשי מטה, הללויה, 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 hallelujah. Okay, one more time, and we're just gonna sing like lie, 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 or ooh, or whatever sound you want to make. Stay on mute, but please sing along. It's just so good to open your voices. Lie, die, 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 One more round of hallelujah. 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 Hallelujah.
After the formal content of the Seder, we linger around the table for more sharing and songs. These folk tunes include Who Knows One and Chad Gad Yah, which tells the bizarre tale of how the Holy One smote the angel of death, who slew the slaughterer, who slaughtered the ox, that drank the water, that quenched the fire, that burnt the stick, that hit the dog, that bit the cat, that ate the goat that my father bought for just 2 little coins. Chad Gad Yah, Aramaic for one goat. Yes, it's hard to follow and understand. But remember that at this point in the Seder, our ancestors had drunk 4 cups of very strong wine, which may actually have been closer to grappa. The joyful craziness starts with Chad Gad Yah, one little goat.
This song is called Chad Gad Yah, and it's about a Chad Gad Yah, which means goat. And Chad Gad Yah wasn't the name of the goat, it's just the Aramaic name for all goats, and that's why this song is called Chad Gad Yah. But it's also about my father and I, and some unwise financial decisions my father made that led him to buy this ill-fated goat for 2 zuzim, which by today's standards, inflation accounted for, also factoring the cost of living wage, is approximately twice as much as 1 zuzim. Chad Gad Yah, Chad Gad Yah, my father bought a Chad Gad Yah. Chad Gad Yah, Chad Gad Yah, why oh why did my father buy the Chad Gad Yah? When it comes to buying goats, he doesn't know how to choose them. He never should have parted with those 2 zuzim. Chad Gad Yah, Chad Gad Yah, my father bought a Chad Gad Yah. And it all started roughly 400 or 500 Passovers ago, which is to say 500 years ago on Passover, that my father came into some zuzim and decided to purchase a brand new shiny goat, aka a Chad Gad Yah, from the store. Well, everything was all well and good, but when we got the Chad Gadya home, we were warned by the local astrologist that there was a clouder, which means a group of cats. There was a clouder of evil, feral, goat-eating cats on the loose, and the stars would indicate that this particular Chad Gadya would be the next victim. So, upon hearing this, my father and I immediately went back to the goat store to return the goat, but when we got there, there was a big sign on the door that said closed on Passover. We had never heard of a goat store being closed on Passover before, so with tears in our eyes, we walked off into the sunset looking for another place to put the Chad Gadya. That's when we came upon a 15-foot cliff, and at the bottom of the 15-foot cliff was a herd of wild goats. And we decided that one big herd of wild goats was better than one medium-sized herd of wild goats and one singular goat, so instead of deciding to bring the other herd up, we just brought our goat down. And that's what we did, and we drove back to the synagogue and had a Passover Seder that couldn't be beat, went to sleep, and didn't get up until the next morning when we heard a knock on the door from Officer Obi. And Officer Obi had our Chad Gadya with him, and he said they had found this Chad Gadya that was known to belong to us amongst a neighboring herd of goats at the bottom of a cliff and wanted to know if we had any information about it. I spoke up and said, Officer Obi, I cannot tell a lie. We put that goat at the bottom of the cliff. And Officer Obi was none too pleased and said, Kid, I want you to come down to the station to speak with me more. But just as that was happening, a miraculous and awe-inspiring sequence of events transpired that neither my father nor I nor Officer Obi could even believe, because just then that clouder of evil, feral, goat-eating cats that the astrologist had warned us about appeared, and one of the cats snuck up and ate our Chad Gadya right before our eyes. We barely had time to process what we had just seen when out of nowhere an angry dog came up and ate that evil feral cat that ate that Chad Gadya. And then just as suddenly came a big stick, and the stick beat the dog that ate the evil feral cat that ate the Chad Gadya. And then out of nowhere a spot fire emerged and burnt the stick, etc., etc. And then would you believe some water fell from the sky and put out that spot fire, and just as quickly a thirsty ox rushed up and drank up all that water that had quenched the fire, that burned the stick, that beat the dog, etc., etc. And before any of us could even say shovels and rakes and implements of destruction, an eager butcher ran up and slaughtered that ox that drank the water. And then out of the corner of our eyes, terrifyingly, appeared the angel of death. And the angel of death immediately killed that butcher that slaughtered the ox, that drank the water, that quenched the fire, that burnt the stick, that beat the dog, that ate the evil feral cat, that ate the Chad Gadya. And when all this death and destruction had paused, the angel of death looked at me and my father. And then he looked at the big scene of death and destruction. And then he looked back at me and my father. And he began descending on us. And that's when I spoke. And I said, Angel. And he paused. I said, Angel, I want to kill. I want to kill. I want to see blood and gore and goat guts in my teeth. Kill. And I started jumping up and down, yelling, kill. And he started jumping up and down with me, and we was both jumping up and down, yelling, kill. And then just in the nick of the time, the Holy One, blessed be she, appeared in the sky and struck down the angel of death that killed the butcher, that slaughtered the ox, that drank the water, that quenched the fire, that burned the stick, that beat the dog, that ate the evil feral cat, that ate the Chad Gadya. But that's not what I came to talk to you about today. I came to talk about the draft. So by all means, if you're feeling chilly, just close the window. But no, seriously, there is a lot of injustice and horrible violence in the world today. And we have a lot of work to do to solve these crises. And while today we may be celebrating our freedom and liberation, every other day it's imperative that we do the work ensuring and protecting it for others. And one way to do that is by seeking and speaking the truth, as well as retelling our history in the context of today and striving for a better world. Like this song here, the Chad Gadya, which may seem like a silly kid's nursery rhyme, but really is a metaphor for the struggle of oppressed people's trials of conquest and liberation. And all you gotta do is sing, Chad Gadya, my father bought a Chad Gadya. And if just one person does that, if one person does that, well, they'll try to cancel them and shut down their Twitter account. But if two people sing, Chad Gadya, my father bought a Chad Gadya. If two people sing that in harmony, well, they'll say it's collusion and obstructing of justice. And if 50 people do it, if 50 people do sing a bar of Chad Gadya, well, they'll call it an insurrection and not do anything about it. And if everyone watching the Seder on Zoom now does it, if everyone watching the Seder, well, then they'll call it a movement, and that's what this is, the Chad Gadya, Passover Day, anti-massacre movement, and all you've got to do to be part of it is to sing it as it comes here around again on the piano. Okay, here it comes. Chad Gadya, my father bought a Chad Gadya. Boom, boom, Chad Gadya, why, oh why did my father buy the Chad Gadya? When it comes to buying goats, he doesn't know how to choose them. He never should have parted with those two zoozim. Chad Gadya, my father bought a Chad Gadya. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-do. My father bought a Chad Gadya. Thank you very much. Happy Passover.
Nice.
Thank you, Ezra. That was great. If your cup be full, may it be again. Time for the last cup of wine. Michael, lead us in Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. We are thankful to you, source of the universe, for creating the fruit of the vine. This fourth cup is the cup devoted to letting go and trusting. We are thankful to you, creator of the vine, and the fruit for the beautiful and spacious land you gave us. Have mercy on us and bring us there to eat its fruits. Grant us happiness on this feast of matzah. Blessed are you, source of nature, for the land and for the fruit of the vine.
So everyone, concluded is the Pesach Seder, finished down to the last detail with all its laws and customs. You have led our journey out of the Mitzrayims of the soul in which we find ourselves and into the Jerusalem of the soul, a place of beauty, abundance, openness, grace, justice, and peace. Support our nation, countless in numbers, and bring us to that place of joy. L'shana haba'ah b'Yerushalayim, next year in the Jerusalem of your heart.
Hark, my beloved, behold, he comes, leaping upon the mountain, skipping upon the hills. My beloved is like a gazelle or a young hart. My beloved spoke and said to me, rise up, my love, my fair one, and come away. For now the winter is past, the rain is over and gone, the flowers appear on the earth. The time of singing has come, and the voice of the terrapins is heard in the land. The fig tree puts forth her green figs, and the vines in blossom yield forth their fragrance. Arise, my love, my fair one, and come away. And may I say thank you all for being here. We're not done yet. There's a lot more music, but I just want to say thank you. I was so touched by the anniversary surprise there. And we're ready to go here with our second set of music. We got some stuff coming up from Scott Law, Scott Guberman, Jeanette Ferber, Jordan Feinstein, I think something else from Lebo. And so stick around, and everybody on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch and wherever else you're watching us on the Deadheadland television network, stick around. We've got a little bit more to come. And the tip jars are still open. And remember, 18% of that is going to Mazan, and the rest is going to get shared between the performers here tonight. And one more thing, I'll still accept entries into the Afikoman contest. If you saw the Afikoman, there was a very good chance you saw it somewhere. Take a picture of it, send it in, and Afikoman@deadheadland.com, or even just to happycat@deadheadland.com. And everyone that sends something in is probably going to get a prize, and I'm going to pick a big winner, going to get a Deadheadland t-shirt. So, all right, take it away. Music. I think Scott Law.
Look out of any window, any morning, any evening, any day. Maybe the sun is shining, the birds are winging, no rain is falling from the heavy sky. What do you want me to do for you, to see you through? This is all the dream we dreamed one afternoon long ago. Walk out of bed and go away, feel your way like the day before. Maybe you'll find direction around some corner where it's been waiting to meet you. What do you want me to do? To watch for you, or you to sleep in? Please don't be surprised when you find me dreaming too. Look into any eyes, you'll find by you can see clear to another day. Maybe been seen before through other nights on other days or going home. What do you want me to do for you, to see you through? It's all the dream we dreamed one afternoon long ago. box of gray wind and water. Leave it if you need it. If you don't, just pass it on. Now, sun and shower, wind and rain, in and out your window like a bomb before the flame. And it's just a box of rain. I don't know who put it there. Leave it if you need it, or leave it if you dare. And it's just a box of rain, over ribbon for your hair. Such a long, long time to be gone, and a short time to be there.
Happy Passover, everyone. We can share the women, we can share the wine. We could share what we got of yours, 'cause we don't share all of mine. Keep on rolling, just a mile to go. Keep on rolling, my old body, you're moving much too slow. Jumped the watchman right outside the fence. Took his rings for bucks of change. Ain't that heaven sent? Hurts my ears to listen, shit, it burns my eyes to see. Cut down a man in cold blood, might as well be me. Once was born and once a blood at the point of the knife. Now the die is shaking, now the time is small. There ain't no way to win this game. You don't go home with all, not with all. Texas, 4th day of July. Sun's so hot, the clouds so low, the eagles fill the sky. To Detroit, lining out in Santa Fe. Great Northern, out of Cheyenne, from sea to shining sea. Gotta go to Tulsa, first train we could ride. Gotta settle one old score, one small point of pride. In a place a man can hide, shading to keep him from the sun. Ain't no bed can give us rest now, you keep us on the run. Share the women, we can share the wine.
Fare you well, my honey. Fare you well, my only true one. All the birds that were singing have flown, except you alone. Wanna leave this broke down palace on my hands and my knees. I will roll, 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 make myself a bed by the waterside. In my time, I will roll, roll, roll. In a bed bed by the waterside, I will lay my head. Listen to the river sing sweet songs to rock my soul. Your river gonna take me, sing me sweet and sleepy. You sing me sweet and sleepy all the way back home. It's a far gone lullaby sung many years ago. And mama, mama, many worlds I've come since I first left home. Going home, going home by the waterside, I will rest my bones. Listen to the river sing sweet songs to rock my soul. I'm gonna plant a weeping willow by the bank's green edge. It will grow, grow, grow. Sing a lullaby beside the water. Lovers come and go. The river roll, roll, roll. Fare you well, fare you well. I love you more than words can tell. Listen to the river sing sweet songs to rock my soul. Fare you well, fare you well. I love you more than words can tell. Listen to the river sing sweet songs to rock my soul. Listen to the river sing sweet songs to rock my soul. Well, listen to the river sing sweet songs to rock my soul.
Hey, Brian.
Hey. Are we done?
You're on.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for coming in today. And I just got a bunch more entries into the Offie Common contest. So those of you that are here in the Zoom, stick around, but we're going to sign off to our Facebook audience and our YouTube and Twitch and all those other people that are watching us. Thanks for tuning in today. And we'll see you guys all real soon. Oh, tomorrow night on Deadheadland, San Geronimo. All right. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.